What's up, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, your friend of Mundo, the Wales greatest living artist. The Wales. Hope everybody's doing. Good right now. I'm gonna be taking care of some things. And yeah, baby. Just gotta ship out a couple of labels that need to be shipped out. A couple of paintings. That's what I'm about to. But yeah, baby, that's what it's about right now. It's mucho crazy mundo con la coronavirus. Mucho loco right now. Spend a lot of time in the studio. I get bananas. I get a little bananas. So much time in the studio. I'm getting a lot of sleep. So I do spend quite some time in the studio. I'm not painting as much right now. Just don't feel like painting as much. Look at all these cowboys. Man, in Arizona, everyone thinks they're a cowboy. All them gunslingers. They watch too many John Wayne movies. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time in the studio, not painting as much. Just getting things out. Also, I spent a lot of time sleeping. Yeah, it's hard to paint right now, and I mean, I have so many orders to get out, and commissions especially, but I recognize that I'm less productive than I normally am. You would think that I'd be more productive because you're supposed to be quarantined. You're more in a single place, not around other people. But with so much uncertainty and one can't stop but to take care of other things as well. I gotta take care of my old man. Keep calling him, how he's doing. My father's in his late 80s. He came back from Mexico a couple of months ago. I think a month ago. Came back from Mexico and he has been quarantined. He's been at home, He's been at home, and I gotta check up on him, see how he's doing, and other things, just like everybody else. Other things, taking care of the household. Taking care of the household that takes a lot of energy, a lot of emotional, mental energy, physical energy too. But I've been sleeping a lot because I understand that if you sleep plenty, your immune system is high. So I've been sleeping in every single day. That's probably why you don't see me early in the morning. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go get it. Nope. I'm trying to get as much sleep as possible right now because we need our immune systems to be high, And but I'm not gonna tell you that that's why I'm sleeping a lot. Like, I'm glad that I am, but that's not why. I'm sleeping a lot because it's emotionally draining, So you sleep a little bit more to rest your mind. Yeah, sleep is essential. I go to bed normally around 11 p.m. Right? Normally I go to bed right before midnight. But I sleep a lot. I wake up later. I wake up at 9, 10 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I sleep a lot. Normally I don't. Before this whole crazy bullshit that's happening right now, I would go to bed go to bed before midnight, and wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Get ready to rock and roll. Normally my day was 5 in the morning. When I was more productive, it was 4:30 in the morning. But normally my day, wake up at 5 in the morning and then get by the studio around 6, start jamming. Right now I'm still sleeping at 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm still sleeping. So I know I'm sleeping at least 3 to 4 more hours than when I normally sleep. So I'm not getting as much done right now. My normal productive days were from 6 in the morning till noon. 6 solid hours of high productivity from 6 to noon. Then from noon I would take a little break, and from noon to 2 p.m. From like 12:15, 12:20 to 2 p.m. I hit it hard again. And then I would go and pick up my son from school. Right now they're not in school, so I would imagine that I'd be a lot more productive because I don't have to go pick up my son from school at night. And it turns out that I'm not nearly as productive right now. It's interesting, huh? The busier you are, the more productive you tend to get. The less busier you are, the less productive you are. Busyness tends to go hand in hand with productivity for some reason. I don't know why. I can't decipher that one. You know how people are like, oh my God, I wish I wasn't so busy so that I could get more stuff done. I think it's the other way around. When your day's so busy, like everything's pulling you in all directions, you tend to be more productive because you're more cautious about your time. You wake up a little earlier. You become more concerned about your time. The less busy you are, the less concerned you are for that. Absolutely. My pleasure sharing whatever is going on right now. I hope whatever I can share with you can help you guys. It's not so. It's not that easy for everyone right now. I know. I've heard from friends and Jack White. I haven't heard that name in a while. I remember Jack White. Jack White passed a long time ago. No, he passed a few years ago. Yeah, I used to read his booklets, his booklets. Maybe about a decade ago, I started reading a couple of his booklets. He's a very smart man, marketing wise, very smart. Good marketer. Him and his wife. What was his wife's name? I forgot his wife's name, but yeah. Mickey. I think it was Mickey. Mickey, she also paints. Yeah, the more product you have, the more time you have, the less productive you are. That's for sure. That does happen a lot. You get very resourceful when you have less. It's a law. I forgot what it's called. But it's a law. It's actually it's been proven. It's scientifically proven, an observation, right? I forgot what it's called, but it's a law. Yeah. The more time you have, the less you get things done. The less time you have, the more you can do. Resources. The more resources a person has, the more you kind of chill. You know, you kind of kick back and you chill. It just is. Right now, a lot of people have a lot of time, but they're not being very, productive because other things are occupying their mind. Serious things are occupying their mind right now. So I completely understand. I mean, who wants to go through that, right? I know this too shall pass. The sad thing is that as it's passing, it's wiping a lot of great people out there, and it's affecting so many. It's affecting so many, in so many ways. In so many ways, everyone's been affected now. I find it interesting how the world shows up with this type of things. It's very interesting. I think it was Churchill who said, one damn thing after another in life. I think the trick to life is adaptability. I don't. We're all chasing something. Everybody's chasing something in one way or another. Some people are chasing great health. Some people are chasing better economic circumstances. Some people are chasing love, whatever, right? Everybody's chasing some people are chasing spirituality and, being a better human being and this and that. And whatever you're chasing, I think as long as you're chasing something, it keeps you occupied. It keeps you interested, right, in something. It keeps you interested. But the more I look at it, the more it seems like it's a game. It's sort of like, as human beings, we're like children that were put in a sandbox to play. And sooner or later, we're going to have to leave the playground, And it seems like whatever we're chasing doesn't really matter that much. It seems that way. It seems like the chase is not. It's important to at a surface level, right? You have to take care of your family, yourself, your health. You have to eat, and on and on. At a surface level, it's important. But in the bigger scheme, in the larger sense of life, is it doesn't seem that important. Just a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My wife called. She's checking on me. So yeah, in the greater scheme, in the bigger picture, it seems like life is more about expression and adaptability. It seems more like an expression. It seems that's what it seems to me, anyways. Do I believe in Jesus? I know what you mean, and I I don't consider myself a Christian in that sense, but the figure of Jesus, of the Christ, is extremely significant in my life, but not in the religious or organized religion sense. But I do have a very high respect for the figure of Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, well, what can I say? I'm an artist. Yeah, creeds, religions, nationalisms, all those things scare me. Hey, thank you so much. Family's doing great. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the prayers. Thank you. Yeah, we're moving. We're moving forward. We're moving forward as human beings. I think it's extremely important to not stay stagnant. I think stillness is important, but stillness is important in the mind. When it comes to the physical aspect, I think we need to move. Sometimes we need to stay chill. You know, like right now we're in quarantine, stay chill. But yeah, I'm gonna package a small painting that I have to get out. And so it's gotta be packaged. It's gotta go. So you guys are gonna see me here packaging this. But yeah, guys, I hope everyone is doing good. I send my love and my prayers. I do pray. I believe it or not, I do pray. But I'm not religious. I don't go to churches or anything like that. But yeah, you know, I do pray. I do have that spiritual connection. I think it's important. I think every human being is spiritual. I think every human being is spiritual, and tough times tend to awaken that in people, you know, tend to awaken that spirituality. So yeah, I'm just finishing up a certificate of authenticity for a painting here that I'm shipping out, a little painting. And we are going to package this and get it out, baby, because it needs to get out. Let me get a little paper here. And finish this thing up. It's gotta go. I do regret not doing more videos about calmness, finding peace earlier. I guess I can start them now, because most of my videos have been about painting, some of the hustle, right? Move, you know, go and move, do the hustle. Some of my videos, a lot of my videos have been about that. And oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm so glad. Making people's days. We will make it through this. Everything passes. Everything passes. This too shall pass. Everything. There is nothing that does not pass in this life. Everything does. Regardless of what anyone thinks out there, everything passes. And sometimes it's sometimes it's painful, you know. Sometimes it's painful. And I can't say it's okay because that would just be me talking from my privilege. But because for some people it's not okay, right? They don't feel like it's okay. But I know that it passes. I know that for sure. There's nothing that sticks around. Nothing that sticks around. Everything comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. And I sure hope that, again, I start doing more videos about looking for... Again, I'm not religious, okay? So I'm not trying to, in no way. But looking for that pearl. As Jesus said, you know, the peace, more videos that remind us of the things that are truly important, you know. I think this is a wake-up call for me too, to share with y'all videos, things about life that is not just about chasing something, because a lot of my videos have been about chasing something, you know, get that sale, sell that commission, and on and on and on. Of course, that's important. I can't sit here and tell you it's not important. Of course it's important, because I in one aspect, right? In the I have to survive aspect, right? I have to survive aspect. It's important in that playing field. Having a job, you know, paying bills, putting food on the table, that's important. But in the vertical playing field, it's not really that important. Peace is the most important thing. It's not even happiness. Happiness is a fucking joke compared to peace. Happiness comes and goes. But peace is there all the time. Peace never leaves you. That's why religions that are probably started by very, very spiritual people, not probably, but surely started, very spiritual people started religions, not meaning to start religions. Use the word peace so much. Use two words a lot: peace and surrender. Regardless of the religion, they use those two words. And because it's so damn important. You know. Because the more I see, the more I find out that life is pretty meaningless without peace. And the way to get the interesting thing is, well, it's not interesting, but it seems interesting to the mind, is that to get to peace, you can't get to peace without going through surrender first. There's no way. And so, I think it's still about art. You know, I'm not going to turn into a preacher all of a sudden. I'm not going to turn into a preacher all of a sudden. But I recognize that there are other aspects of being an artist, of being a human being, other than chasing something all the time. You know, this moments, these things that happen in life. I gotta go drop this off real quick. How's it going, Eileen? These moments awaken the spirit. You know, moments like this make you realize a little bit more, right? What is truly important. So many people in uncertainty, a lot of suffering. A lot of people have faith, which is a very good thing. But a lot of people don't, and I wish I can bring people a little bit of that, you know, a little reminder. I dare not try to tell anyone what to do or how to be, but maybe bring a little gift, a little reminder, right? A little gift, a little moment of joy, a little reminder that everything's going to be fine, because it always is. It always is. The life is playing, you know. Life is playing. We are expressions of God. Life is playing, and sometimes the play is a little rough. Sometimes the form it takes is a little rough, and sometimes that's what we experience. It's okay, good boy. My little dog's like, where are you going? Thank you, I appreciate that. I want to be able to focus a little bit more in other than just what I've been doing. This has opened my eyes a little bit more into just being a little bit more of a human being, you know. Like I said, moments like this tend to awaken the spirit a little bit, or a lot, depending, right, on the necessity and the condition. But I've noticed that much of what I've done is not touch on those aspects of the artist. I think it's important to touch on the spiritual aspect of it. I've touched on it in the past, but not enough. And And when things are going well, there's no need to, right? When things are going well, why would you want to touch on the aspect of peace of mind? Why would you want to touch on that? There's no need to. Everything's fine. There's plenty of food. There's plenty of health. Don't bring it down by talking about something that sounds like work. Or it sounds like bad news, right? It sounds like bad news. Somebody dies, or somebody is ill, and then people start saying, well, I got to talk to my brother, I got to make a phone call to my father, or this or that, and people are usually associated with something negative, something sad. But it's because it's only when the nut cracks, right? It has to crack. There's something. And sadly, the game of life forces us through a crack. It forces us through a crack to awaken a little bit more. And awaken not in a I am someone special. I know some. No, awaken in the sense of just being, just being, just not have so much clutter in our minds, not have so much clutter, not have so much judgment. Maybe treat each other just a bit better, just a bit better, and maybe that can create a little domino effect. I don't know, no idea, but I do know that the mind is. This is one of the things that I talk a lot about in art. The mind keeps you from being creative or from doing your work. At all. Keeps you from doing your work. There's plenty of work that an artist needs to do, but they can't because the mind is saturated, and so there's all these conditions and limitations. But the artist has plenty of work to do. As a creator, there's plenty of work that you need to do. I mean, boatloads of it. Many of us don't see it that way. Many of us see it as I'm going to create this masterpiece or this very special piece of artwork. But if you see any of the great artists in history, it was about production. It was about unlimited production, because there was not just unlimited ideas. There was the pipe wasn't clogged, so everything went through, and a lot of us, the pipe is clogged. Our process is clogged for a lot of us, sadly. This is why, artists like Matisse, Picasso, Warhol. I mean, you name any of those artists in the past 100 years. They produced work, and they produced work not because it was commercial to produce the work. A lot of people get that confused. It's not because it was commercial to produce the work. It's because they tapped into something. There was an opening. There was a crack, an opening in the past 100 years that hadn't happened before. That the Impressionists were some of the first ones who started savoring that. They started tasting that crack that opened. Wait a minute, you think I can paint whatever I want and however I want and as many paintings as I want? Yeah, you can actually do that. Wow, right? And it cracked. What happened? Impressionist, post-impressionist, Fauvism movement, and on and on. And that crack led to a lot of bullshit art, but a lot of great art too. A lot of great art. We couldn't have so much of the great art that we've had, and so much of the shitty art also. We've had a lot of that, but you can't have the yin without the yang, right? You need both. You need the good and the bad. You need both. You need both wings to fly. I joke around often too with friends and people that have visited my studio in the past. I tell them that, because they say, how do you produce so much work, and it's all so beautiful, and I joke around and I say, I don't know, for about every 100 paintings that I create, and this is no joke, okay, I joke with them, but this is really how I feel. For about every 100 paintings that I paint, one of them, just one of them, sometimes, not all the time, one of them sometimes rubs me the right way. A lot of the work that I create, I don't like. A lot of the work that I create, I'm not happy with. You know, it just doesn't feel, because the mind doesn't like it. The mind is always examining and judging the work, putting judgments and filters, right? The mind doesn't like it. The mind doesn't think it's good enough. It's overdone. It's underdone. It's too big. It's too small. It's too sloppy. It's too detailed. The mind is an angry little fucker who just wants to make your day bad, and it's conditioned that way. It's been conditioned that way for millennia. It's a conditioning. It's got all mixtures of all sorts of things. Survival instincts, all sorts of things are mixed in there. And some people call it the ego. Some people call it Satan. There's so many names for it. There's so many names for it. It's the human condition. It's the human condition. And every now and then we get a taste of heaven when we don't use our mind to create artwork. And we call that inspiration. We call that bliss. And we call that state of flow. And we call that painting in God's presence, painting in the now. People call it. I create artwork in the time zone of now, and so many names, right? People have so many names for it, but truly, it's because you're not in the physical, horizontal aspect of life, which is time, present, past, right? Past, present, future is the horizontal aspect of life. It's horizontal because it's linear. There's a past, there's a present, there's a future. The present is almost never we never almost pay attention to it. Almost never. Maybe when we go to sleep we pay attention to it for a little bit. Or when a child is born, you look at the child, or when your dog looks at you and you look back at your dog, you experience the present for a little bit. Most of us don't. The vertical axis, the vertical aspect of life is the present moment, and if you paint in that state, you are painting in the presence of God. I think that's where the great masters that we look back now, we say, oh, Van Gogh, oh, Cézanne, or this, I think they painted there. I agree. We hear about Picasso used to say, if I can paint and remove my head. Removing his head meaning not physically. He was talking about, of course, metaphorically. Stop thinking when he painted. Degas said, only when I'm not thinking is that I'm creating something good. And I don't know what I'm doing.
That was bad to say about painting. That was wrong to say what I should. But hey, I call it like I see it. You know what I mean?
Cézanne said, when I think, everything is lost.
Of course.
It's the thinking that prevents you from. It's the thinking that prevents you from creating artwork. Well, actually, the thinking prevents you from everything. It prevents you from seeing your partner, from seeing your children. You may be in front of them, but you can't see them because the thinking prevents you from seeing them. Yeah, I'm gonna need a receipt. That's all. Thank you. And ultimately, is what's stopping you from creating artwork, if it stops you. And we use all these other reasons why we say I don't create artwork because I don't have time, I don't have materials, I don't have inspiration, but that's not it. Those are all reasons that we make up because we're trying to make sense of it. The reason why we don't create art, if you're an artist, is because this doesn't allow you to. This is your biggest enemy. And the conditioning. I mean, it's the same reason why we don't connect with people, right? Especially the people you love. You see your spouse with the same face, the same eyes that you saw them when you first met them. The only reason you can't, if you don't, I'm saying, the only reason you can't is because you have history now, and so you're looking at the history, not at the person anymore. And we do it with everything. You're looking at your paintings. You're not looking at your paintings freshly. You're looking at the history of your paintings. The history of your paintings is the worst thing you can do. It's like looking at a. Thank you, appreciate it. It's like looking at your spouse and saying, "In year such and such, you did this to me. You said no. You said this. You lied to me. You, I don't know, cheated on me, or you whatever. You know, this happened," and then you can't see the person anymore. The person is lost. You're looking at a pile of shit. You're looking at history. History will always prevent you from seeing a person or being in front of someone or something. You can't paint because you're looking at history. You're looking at how many paintings you've messed up. How many times you created artwork and you never sold it. You're looking at last time you painted those roses, nobody cared about them. You tried to show them and nobody really cared. You're looking at all kinds of things, all kinds of things. You're looking at everything but the painting. You're looking at everything but the painting. And I don't blame anybody who does it. It's not that's actually where the word sin comes from. Sin, the word sin means to miss the mark. Means you're not looking at what you're supposed to be looking at. You're missing the mark. That's what the word sin, to sin, means. That's where it came from. You're missing the mark, like an archer missing the mark. You're not looking at where you are supposed to be looking at. You're looking elsewhere. You're not present with it. The most valuable gift you can give someone, anybody, is your presence. It's the most valuable gift you can give anybody. Your spouse, your children, your art collectors, anyone. It's not the artwork. It's not the artwork they want. Art collectors or people that buy art, many of them are confused. They think that they want the art. It's not. Yes, it looks like the art. That's the package. But they want to look at that which you were present and took time, because you were in presence, to honor. They're buying that which you honored. That's really what they're buying. When people say this is such great food, they're not saying, oh, this is such great food because the way that you prepared it, the way that you cooked it. No. The deeper reason of that is if those words could be broken, it would say this person took their entire being, were present for that moment, and gave everything they had to create this meal. And that is what they honor. It's not the food they're honoring. They're honoring the fact that you honor the food. And that's why they love it. It's not the paintings they're honoring the fact that you honored the painting. And that's why they love it. Nobody buys a painting from me and says, oh, what a wonderful painting. Yes, on the surface they say that, but really they're saying, thank you for honoring the painting. Because in you honoring that moment, the present moment, when you're creating artwork, you are giving me a gift. It's a reminder to also honor my present moment. But when I'm in front of my children, I will be in front of them the same way you were in front of this painting, in front of this canvas when you were creating it. That's what that means. When I'm in front of my husband, my wife, my partner, I will be in front of them. Of course, not 24/7. Of course, we understand. People have to work. People have to sleep. There's things to do, of course. But for a moment, for a little moment in our day, I will be in front of my partner the same way that you were in front of this painting. I'm not painting 24/7. Right? I only paint for a little bit of my day. Well, a lot, because I'm a full-time artist, but that painting, that specific painting, I was only there for 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops. People are not buying the painting, they're buying the honor, because you cannot honor something unless you surrender to it. That's why. And so they value the fact that I surrender to the moment. The path to honoring something is surrender. Why surrender? Because the mind wants to get you away from it. Because the mind only cares about what is interesting and important and what's burning. But the heart doesn't function that way. When you create artwork, it has to come from the heart. It can't come from the mind, because the mind doesn't understand shit about creation. The mind can only see past and future. And it only does is worry or want something. It worries and wants. Right? I can't get to the next moment. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week? So the mind does that. That's its job. But the heart can only live in the presence, in the present moment. And so when you create artwork, you're creating from the present moment. It's the only area of creation. And some people tell me, like, why do you speak in this way? Because I can, because I'm alive. That's why I can speak this way, in this totality. And I try not to say so many things in totality, but there is no art that does not come from stillness. If art comes and it's not from stillness, you did not create art. You painted, but you did not create art. There's no way. Art comes from stillness. Just like a hug. You want something from someone, it's going to feel different. Right? If you go give it to someone, well, not right now, right? Right now you're not supposed to be close to anybody, but other than your spouse, your children. But people can feel, right? They want something from me, as opposed to they're giving me something. It's a different energy. You even feel it. What does this person want? Because it's a different energy. And so this is why I say, when you create artwork, it's a state of surrender, and because the mind is fighting you all the time. The mind is an angry little fucker. That's just fighting you all the time. It's like, don't look at your kids, look at your phone. Your wife is talking to you. Don't look at her. Don't listen. Don't listen to her. Yes, hear him, hear her, hear them, but don't listen, because there's much more important things to deal with right now. That's what the mind does. And if you fight it, the mind will win. Just like the human in biblical, in biblical studies, right? Just like the human beat the angel. If you fight it, the mind will win. The mind is stronger. That's why I think Jesus referred to it as the strong one. The strong one, because it's strong. The mind will win if you fight it. You can't fight the mind, you have to surrender to it. That's why religions call it surrendering. That's why in Christianity, Catholicism, there is a people kneel. It's a symbol of surrender. It's to remind you to kneel. And many other religions use also the word surrender. Because you can't honor something unless you surrender your mind to it. You cannot force the mind, because the mind will win. And when you create artwork, if you don't surrender to that moment, you can't create artwork. And so this is why so many artists are like, man, I need to create art, I don't have inspiration, I don't have ideas. Of course you don't. Who does? No one does. I don't have ideas. What do you think? I have a library of a million ideas? Even if I did, if I relied on them, if I relied on images, and it wouldn't be crisp, it wouldn't be new. There couldn't be newness out of it, because it's not a state of surrender. It will be repetitive and boring. Only new comes out of nothing. New doesn't come out of repetition. New is original. It comes out of nothing. It's not new. Is not because there's bells and whistles on your painting. And new is born out of nothingness, out of the stillness of your mind, out of your state of surrender. And it doesn't always. It's a vehicle, right? You have to be a vehicle for it. It is not a vehicle. You have to be a vehicle for it. This is where your practice comes in. That's where you're painting. You're not going to hit it out of the park every single time you paint. As a matter of fact, you won't most of the time. This is why I say every 100 paintings that I make, every now and then one of them makes me smile. Most of them, I have to just paint and move on, because if I sit there and I start looking at them, I start judging them. They go through a filtration of judgment. And it doesn't make them better. It just tortures me as an artist. You're looking at your painting, you're like, oh, the light is off. Oh, the shadows. Oh, the paint here, and the thickness, the brush strokes, and the composition, and you go bananas. Because all you do is judgment. The judgment is what fucks up your painting and your process. It's not your skill level. A lot of artists think that if they just get a little bit better, if their skill gets a little bit better, but that's not it. It's nice. You learn some new tricks, some new things, and it's nice. But getting better at painting it doesn't solve anyone's problem, and no artist's problem. Learning how to surrender is the ultimate solution. The art of not minding. You care, but you don't mind. Some people say, I just don't care about anything. Well, it sounds utopian. That's more egoic. You care about it. You just don't mind it. You know, I care about this person. I don't mind this. I don't mind our past. I don't mind these words that keep ringing in my head. You know, that this person told me, or that this or that. I don't sit there and mind it. The word says that it's by itself. You know, I don't mind it. I do care. Yes, it's hurtful, and I spoke to the person, or we had a chat about it, or this or that. But I'm not going to carry it with me and mind it. Right? I'm not going to put it as a luggage. This is what we as artists do. You know, people in general, we carry luggage, very heavy luggage, everywhere we go. Extreme efforts to move from point A to point B because of the luggage you're carrying. As painters, we do this. You know, you can't finish a painting because you have this luggage, and it's so difficult. And if you do finish it, you hate it because of all this difficulty. And some people don't. Some people don't have that problem. It's not a challenge some people have. Some people have a different challenge around that. They finished it, but now they don't want anyone to see it. Or they can't move to the next one. Because the air has to be just right. You know, the inspiration has to be perfect. The time has to be right. And so you can't move. And some people have the opposite of that. I've had the opposite of that. You move too fast that you neglect. You move too fast that you neglect. The importance of being in front of the painting. It does require practice, but it requires, you can get it right away also. It requires not minding. That's all it requires. It doesn't, you don't need years. You can get it right away. I'll leave you with that, guys. Take care. Peace out.